All right, welcome to video number 3 of the Mexican P-Bass project. All right, so we've been waiting for a few days for parts, and I'm happy to report that all parts except one are in. I'm still waiting on the bridge. It'll probably be next week. The green pick guard came in, and I'm pretty stoked. Check that baby out. That's gonna look really good on your eye. I think it's gonna be fun. So, all right. So next steps. Going to be conditioning and treating this fretboard with this fretboard treatment. This F1 oil will clean, protect, and nourish this fretboard. It's really in pretty good shape. There's a few little spots that are worn here and there, which is normal. This bass has been played, so. And then we'll also polish these frets and resurface them. Some of these, especially down here toward the end of the neck where, you know, a lot of the business on bass is, you can feel, you know, there's a little wear. So we'll smooth these out, polish them really nice, and get those all set to go. I've also made another decision. I'm going to move some light down here. I'm going to replace the nut. And the reason why is two things. Before I took it apart, there was some pretty bad buzzing in the A string, and it was coming from the nut. It's a pretty good chance that it's because the neck was bowed so severely that there wasn't enough tension here. However, when I was kind of messing around and cleaning on this thing, I realized that the nut was quite loose and it just came out. And as I inspected it, I noticed that, you know, it's a little chewed up. It's not so, and these are cheap. All right, this doesn't cost hardly anything. So I ordered a simulated bone replacement P-bass nut. So we will get it set in there and get it adjusted. So we will have a new nut in the bass, which is cool. Down on the electronic side, got my helping hands out here, and then kind of just set up to begin the soldering. I did elect to go ahead and get a better connector. This is actually a 4-point connector, whereas the standard Fender one, if you can see, it only has, you know, the one. Where's my finger at? There we go. It only has this one. This one actually will connect in four different spots. So it's just a tighter connection. So I ended up spending a few extra bucks to get this higher quality, firmer. You know, if you've ever plugged in a guitar and had it short on you or get a bad connection here, this is just kind of nice insurance. It'll hold that plug nice and tight and get a good connection. So this will be going in place of this factory one here. This will be our first solder connection. Then of course we'll move over to the pots. Here's the tone pot. And we have a, oh, what the heck is this thing called? It's not a capacitor. Anyway, we're gonna just basically mimic the soldering for the new pots. And we have 2 of those. I've got some extra flux here, and some braid and some solder, and a soldering bulb to remove the old solder. I've placed this old towel to protect so hot solder doesn't damage this finish, which actually cleaned up pretty darn nice. It's pretty glossy here and there. There's still a little nicotine here and there, but that's no big deal. So everything's in except the bridge, but that's fine. I can go ahead and get the electronic work done. So I'll work on that. I'm going to go ahead and prepare the fretboard. I'll get this nourished and oiled down really good and clean. I will treat and polish the frets, get them polished and smooth. They'll be really nice and shiny. And I'll get the nut replaced. That'll be a quick, easy thing. Sometimes these nuts are a little too wide for the slot. So I've got a sanding block where I can just take very thin layers off until it fits in nice and snug. And a couple dots of Loctite will hold that in there just fine. And that's the project. Got my soldering iron out, all ready to go. And again, this pick guard, it looks really cool under the light. I haven't taken it out of the bag yet because I don't want it to, but I mean, that's going to look really pretty cool on this bass, I think. So anyway, that is video number 3. We'll check back in when we have our soldering connections complete, show you the shiny reconditioned fretboard and the nut, which won't really look any different, but we will have that installed. One thing we will have to do with the new nut is we'll probably have to file these slots a little bit. I have some little pin files, little stick files that are designed for these slots. to get this to the correct height, I've got measurement tools to measure that. So we will we'll get that notched out if necessary. It probably will be necessary to get it down within specs where I want it. So, and then this is a package of various grits of sandpaper, so I can also work on doing my aged look that we talked about up here on the top of the guitar, right back in there. So we'll begin sanding that, but I think the next thing I'm going to do is get the electronics all set up and get that all done and tested. I'll plug it in and make sure that all the connections are good, there's no shorts or anything. And yeah, then we'll move on. More to come in video number 4. Bye for now.